A quick charge, but an extensive review here on the all-new Audi Q7 e-tron. That's the new plug-in hybrid, and it's today on Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews and your #1 community to discuss cars. So the concept is the TDI in the front here, or later on it will also be a petrol engine available, plus an electric engine. And we're going to investigate what actually this differentiates from the standard Q7 version. We'll take a look at the exterior, interior, and especially at the driving experience. How is it actually different when we also have the electric engine? And we're going to discuss it in detail, if this really makes sense and what technology is behind that. Let's go. Let's start with what's beneath the hood, because that's the most important thing here. And well, we see kind of nothing. Most of the stuff is covered, but there's actually a model available where we can see it better. That in the front there's the big TDI 3 liter, 258 horsepower. This variant is available in the US. In Germany you can only get a little bit less horsepower, a little bit more horsepower for the 3 liter TDI. And together with the electric engine that is also sitting in the front, it gets to a system power of 373 horsepower and then 6 seconds only from 0 to 100 kilometers. And the battery, by the way, it sits in the back. We can also very well see that in the model. And we can also take a look at the trunk and what you see actually from the outside then with the battery. Talking about the exterior design, it's not very different from the standard Q7 model. You see in the front we got as well this huge single frame grille. You see it's almost as big as me. And a little bit of difference we have because the Q7 e-tron is more expensive, but also comes with more serious equipment. For example, the full matrix LED lights, so full LED, and the top trim here with a special high beam. And I've also turned on the LED signature light that you can see how that one actually plays out. And a very aggressive modern look it definitely has in the front. But again, not that huge of a difference, just trim level wise with the Q7 e-tron. The side profile of the all-new Q7 is the one that has been criticized the most, because a lot of people said, okay, it just looks like a little bit put higher station wagon. I have to agree to that. Also not my most favorite here one. However, the e-tron version, where is the difference? We got a small e-tron logo right here, and then we get from the standard equipment all 19-inch alloys. These ones here are 20-inch, optionally. And then we got the Quattro sign, quite a big right here, and it's also with a contrast color, which is not a contrast here, because in the silver color it's kind of the same. Quite impressive is this very strong design line we have here. It's an additional design line. That one is kind of significant for the whole car and goes all the way back then. Talking about range, the concept and the pricing. So this one here, the 3 liter TDI combined with the electric engine, pure electric range, 56 kilometers. Official, we'll see on later how that plays out. And total range about 1,400 kilometers theoretically. And then again, mainly aiming at the Chinese market, there will be the 2 liter TFSI, the petrol engine, combined with the electric engine. And then Audi is thinking about, okay, which one of those are we bringing over to the US? Will it be the diesel plug-in hybrid combination, or will it be the petrol plug-in hybrid combination? About pricing, well, and then it gets really interesting. Usually this one, as it stands here right now, 3 liter TDI is about 60,000 euros, taking Germany as a price reference. That one here, the Q7 e-tron, is about 80,000 euros. About 10,000 euros extra for all the equipment. We have the GPS inside, we will soon show you. And the pure electric stuff is about 10,000 euros then again. So 10,000 euros more just for the electric equipment. Then it's the question, will it pay off for you? Let me answer that. No, it won't. It's more about, are you willing to invest more into electric driving, because it obviously also has its advantages. However, disadvantage again, as you've seen from all the electric parts, they also have the additional weight, 200 kilos for the battery, and overall 375 kilograms more for all the electric stuff. Well, that's really a plus weight, and you have to carry it around for all time. About the loading process, first of all, slim and beautiful Audi key. There's an additional e-tron logo on it. Open the car. Then, you maybe heard it, the fuel cap gets unlocked. And there's the electric fueling behind that one. And here I got a special wall box. You can have that one installed at home. That's about, I think, 1,500 euros in cost. If you put this wall box, then the car can charge faster. If you just plug it on a normal household plug, it will about be 8 hours to have the full charge. And with that one, you can, well, half the time or something like that, or even less with the time. If you put the car overnight, by the way, that's, I mean, just fine as well. So just plug it in, and then we can see it right here. It automatically starts charging. See the green button, and you see it's fixed. And at the other side of the vehicle, we have the standard fuel cap for the diesel, and also for the AdBlue. You know, there was something about emissions and stuff. So let's see what kind of impact the additional battery has on the trunk. And we also check how is the sensitivity here. Does it stop? Yeah, that's actually quite good. And when we close it, what's the sensitivity here for children? Yeah, well done. I really like that. Usually we have problems with that it's not sensitive enough, and that could be very dangerous for children. Here I thought Audi, well done. And so what can we see? We of course have a huge loading space, and the interesting part is the loading sill here and also the floor. It is not been reduced at all in the height. The only difference is at the normal Q7, you can see it in our other Q7 review, you can put up this here and then have an additional space below that one. Then we got the battery on here. Again, if you take a look at the model, you can see how the battery is placed below here because the center of gravity has to be kept low. We also have the optional air suspension here, therefore we can put the whole car a little bit lower here for easier loading. Or so you see here that's even lower than, and then other button is to put it higher again. The air suspension, of course, a very smooth ride. We'll also experience that very soon. And well, the other difference is you see there's no option for the 6th and 7th seat. So that's one compromise you have to take when going for the e-tron. Before we get to the most important and most exciting part in the interior here at the front with the special instruments, let's take a short look here at the flexibility with the rear seats. First of all, you got a huge space in here, and then you can also flip them to make an even loading space to the back. And it's also possible to put those seats here behind the front seats, and you have even more space here. But in this case, it doesn't make so much sense. Here you could, for example, for the 6th and 7th seater option, you can have an easy access here. In this case, you usually just leave them like this. And then when I take a seat here, what I usually think is that it's better here than in a classic luxury sedan. You sit upright even here in the rear part. We don't have a panoramic roof here, so I have this kind of space above my head. Really huge space, and there are hardly any cars that offer so much space here for the rear passengers. You can easily travel with 5 adults plus luggage here. That's the big advantage for a car that is 5 meters 05 long. One of my favorite parts, the inside of the doors, wood at the lower part and the shiny black at the higher part. I really like when it's in wood. However, I would pick the bright wood if it's available in general. Then let's take a look at the seats. You always see right now they offer good comfort, and also they're quite long, so especially suitable also for tall persons, and you can see the comfort already just from the seat form itself. However, this is a combination here of Alcantara on the inside, leather on the outside. Unfortunately, Audi uses real leather in the Q7. That is totally unnecessary, especially when they got the Alcantara leather option. I'll take a seat. And by the way, from the standard equipment, also with the Q7 e-tron, you can just have the cloth seats, so just go for the standard version, then you'll be fine. At least this is the case in German market. Might be different from market to market. Then let's judge the comfort. Always just when sitting statically here, very nice, one of the best in the class. You sit very upright, have a good visibility in the front and enough shoulder support, so I really can recommend those seats here. The general cockpit overview, whereas the exterior was highly criticized within the all-new Q7, everyone was kinda really astonished about the interior, and I can really agree to it. Great interior, one of my favorite in the segment definitely. And I'll turn on the ignition, then you see that the infotainment screen, it pops out. This is a very clean solution actually, so it doesn't look that attached, and if you maybe not using the GPS, you do not have to use it. Especially with the Q7 e-tron, as I said earlier, we got the GPS included already with the navigation in there, and also the Audi virtual cockpit. We'll soon take a detailed look at that one. So this one comes with this higher equipment then. As I said, but you can really pick that one. I would pick a bright wood here, or maybe aluminum style. Here we have kind of dark wood, but it feels also quite of natural. It's a matte wood, and then the predominant design is here this horizontal line at the air vents, and that makes the whole interior really huge already from the visual side, and it is indeed really huge. Then about the climate function, nicely displayed in a separate display here, and just when you hear the clicking sounds, this is really high-class quality, again from the Audi Sound Laboratory. The same counts for the climate functions, for the temperature. And I think it's good that you still have that one separated. Don't have to go over a touchscreen or something like that. I really want the temperature separated with a separate knob. Or what's your opinion about that one? We also got a smartphone in here with a special app on the e-tron. I can show you the details on there, what you can do there, overview about the charging or unlocking the car, the range of the car. It's also, well, maybe just a play toy in my opinion. To me, it would be more important that the car really has a good range as for the electric car. So the cockpit really greatly designed, and also from the quality as we know it from Audi, really on the top standard. And for this last point, maybe the steering wheel, I think it's a very nice solution that the single frame grille from the front is really repeated on the steering wheel. That's just little elements that really create, well, a little bit of fun and emotion on the side of the car. So with the Q7 e-tron, as I said, you get the digital instruments, the Audi virtual cockpit included. You can, with a normal Q7, also go for the analog instruments. Here it kind of makes sense because you have to have more information on the electric drive. It says the range, electric range, green, 53 kilometers, and the diesel range, 1,340 kilometers right now. I can also change the view, by the way, so that I have a bigger speedometer, and that one here shows me when the battery is charging, when it's recuperating. And this one, when the boost is used, when I use the electric engine to have a better acceleration. I can browse this one for the consumption here, for example, as well. And then it's also possible to change to the audio system, also to the GPS. You see we have the satellite view in here. You have to have an internet connection for that one. So we are in Spain, close to Madrid, at an air base. Yeah, and then when I start the car, going back to this special screen, when I start the car then, well, I start, it says e-tron ready, I start in the electric drive, and that is what I really like about the plug-in hybrid. I can start silently. Here in the lower part it says EV, it's the electric vehicle then. And then I can put in the D mode, I'm still at electric, and when I'm standing still I could also put the drive selector down again, and then I go to battery hold. Then you maybe heard it, the diesel got activated. That means I'm holding the battery status now, that I can maybe hold it on a countryside road and then use the electric mode again on the city on later. And there are two other modes available we'll experience while driving. Storage space at the inside of the doors. We start, you can put some bottles in here, actually quite reasonable. And then there's the glove box, standard glove box, and it also slides down quite smoothly as I would expect it. Then beverage holders here in the middle console as well. They are adaptive, can adapt to the size of the beverage. Here in the front we got, well, it's for cigarettes, but please don't smoke in such an expensive car. So there it is. And finally, below the armrest here, also from very good quality, you can see this logo here. That means that is for the wireless charging function, if your mobile phone supports it, or a special case with the iPhones. And also 2 USB slots are available right here. Let's start our test ride, and when I close the door, I really have to do it very strongly because it's so well isolated that you have really to work against the air pressure. When I turn on the ignition now, or kind of the engine, we hear nothing, and that's one of the most special things already. I'm in the EV mode, and especially when I'm now using the rear view camera to cruise around, go back and to the front again, and right and left. That's a very good solution when parking because it's actually so easy to to handle the car. I'll try to do a test round of about 10 kilometers and see. We got a range of 44 kilometers left here right now. See if it will be 34 kilometers after the test rounds. However, you know, there are also other driving modes available. If I press down the throttle just very gently, I stay in the electric vehicle mode. If I press it down very hardly, and the acceleration can be very good, 6 seconds, 0 to 100, then, you heard it now, then the diesel also gets activated to have the maximum boost. And let's first talk about the Q7 in general. Huge car, over 5 meters long, but still, due to the good suspension and the good handling, see it right here when I do some handling tests, direct response from the steering wheel, and it doesn't feel like such a heavy car. The air suspension is optional, but gives you a very good driving comfort. I see the digital instruments and the satellite view in the central middle screen. Well, it's not a must-have, but it's actually nice to have. When you want more power from the electric vehicle, it's always possible. It's not like, you know, accelerating like a Tesla. And if I press the throttle too hard, again here it changed to the non-electric vehicle mode. I have to go to the electric vehicle mode again. Then I also have the automatic cruise control in here, the adaptive one, and that one is combined with a special system. It's called the predictive assistant, and that one combines the GPS data together with the throttle input, and then, for example, when it goes downhill, the car knows that and, for example, lifts the throttle automatically, or if you're driving it yourself, then maybe says, okay, you should lift the throttle, and that can put it even more efficient and maybe save some of the electric range even more. That's also a clever idea to combine these ones. This system has been used in together with trucks so far, and for example also with Mercedes, that the car is decelerating just, for example, also before you reach the peak of a hill. That's also a very interesting thing. And right now I'm driving just myself with the electric mode again. When I lift the throttle, by the way, I just let the car roll. That's the best solution actually, because you can use all of the power the car has. Just when going downhill, you should then use the recuperation. And when I press the brakes, actually first the recuperation is used, that the battery is charged. Then when this braking power is not enough, then also the normal brakes are applied. And I still enjoy this rather silent ride with the Q7. So yes, I think it's better as a plug-in hybrid than don't having it at all. Is it useful to combine it with the diesel? Well, on the European market, people will still go for the diesel, although still with this diesel scandal. Worldwide then in China, the 2-liter TFSI combined for this plug-in hybrid, and I think they will also bring this one to the US, because I think diesel and US, that won't work anymore. So expect, I think, for our US customers, US viewers of Autogefühl, that they also get the 2-liter TFSI together with the plug-in hybrid. And now we're getting close to the end of our test route, and if you really drive this electric vehicle kind of smoothly and don't, you know, push the issue too hard, it seems that this value will really be realistic. Maybe remember, we should land at 34 kilometers, and right now I have the range of 36 kilometers, so we're still 35 now. Will be very exciting if it's accurate. Then we can, you know, also know that this figure in total really works. Yeah, and I think we're at the end of our 10 kilometers ride and 35 kilometers. Yeah, so actually the range figure we see in the front screen is right. And now let's mix that car, go for a little bit harder acceleration. Diesel gets activated. Yeah, and now you feel the weight of the car. It's a little bit pushing to the outside because it's still that heavy. Now the diesel is activated at the same time. But then again, if I let the car roll just in the electric vehicle mode, then I have zero consumption as for the petrol again. Or we can also test it with the other modes, going for battery hold now. I already feel the resistance in my foot. I feel the car is braking when I left the throttle now. It's not sailing now, so battery is hold, and also there's then a better charging process of the battery, better recuperation. Or I can, let's say, go for put here in the central one, battery charged, then This one is even stressed, then the battery is charged even when I press the throttle, and I feel again that there's this kind of resistance. It's a strange feeling, especially in the very contrast to when you've driven the electric mode purely before. And by the way, the last very important and interesting thing is, you maybe remember from our Volvo XC90 video, the T8, the plug-in hybrid there, that was actually that the car itself was always all-wheel drive, permanent all-wheel drive, but then when you combine the electric engine, it was then just that the front wheels were driven by the normal engine and the rear wheels by the electric one. Audi has a different way here. It functions that way, that the normal diesel is the quattro itself, so the all-wheel drive. Then the electric drive is also not restricted to one axle, it's also assisting all four wheels. So they said it was the most important to us to have the all-wheel drive at all times, and therefore they have been using this concept. And I'll end my test route here again fully electric because I want to be very silent. Hope you enjoyed that one here with the electric drive. Later. Let's come to a conclusion. Well, what Audi did is surely not rocket science, but they have included some very clever technologies. One, for example, is also the thermal management, that the heat pump is using the heat waste from the electric parts and using that one for the internal heating, saving some kilometers extra from the electrical range. So overall, surely a great piece of technology, but I would like to have even more range. I would be maybe calmer if I sit inside the vehicle and says, okay, maybe 300 kilometers electric range. We have to wait for that with the Audi Q6, or so-called at the moment E-tron Quattro concept. That one is supposed to have 500 kilometers of range and then can fight the Tesla Model X, for example. So far with a plug-in hybrid, you're a little bit limited, but it can work off for you if you maybe commuting just small amounts of kilometers to work each day. Then it might be a very well solution for you. Then in general, from the exterior, I'm kind of getting used to the all-new Q7 layout. I didn't like it that much at first, but now I kind of got used to it, and so I think I like it a little bit more now. From the interior, really great work visually, and also from the quality. I think hardly anyone can beat that one interior-wise. Also from the driving, this agility cannot be matched at the moment, maybe from a Porsche Cayenne, but that's kind of inside the same corporation. They share a lot of parts, not anymore now at the moment, but later on when the new Porsche Cayenne generation will come, then we also have the same problem than the Q7. So a lot of agile riding, although you have a really huge car, and in combination with the electric drive, that's a really good mix. You're silent in one part, good sound installation, but then very agile with the power of the electric drive and also with a very good suspension and a comfortable ride. So that's our perspective on the Audi Q7 e-tron. What's your perspective on it? Really like to hear that one in the comments below, and I hope to see you at the next Autogefühl episode with Thomas. Thanks and bye.